On Triple M, you're listening to Rural Focus for your Friday morning. My name's Holly, and this morning we're talking about some exciting news for regional sport in our local communities. CBH is expanding its partnerships with Country Football WA and Netball WA. Joining us is Casey York from CBH. Good morning, Casey.
Good morning, Holly. How you going?
Yeah, doing well. Casey, can you tell us what the partnership expansions are all about? Give us the details.
Yeah, of course, Holly. So we've expanded our long-standing partnership with Country Football, and what we're doing, we're supporting 71 clubs across the grain growing region in WA, and that's covering the full cost of their public liability insurance. And pleasing, we've also announced that we're extending the same approach to regional netball, and that what that's doing is funding contents insurance for 24 WA affiliated netball associations. So supporting a couple of key regional sports that exist within our grain growing communities across the wheat belt of Western Australia, and looking forward to extending that partnership moving forward.
Man, local sport is such a key part of our communities. Why has CBH structured its partnerships to support clubs and associations in this way?
Well, I think at its core, it's really around reducing the financial burden that sort of exists within local clubs and communities, particularly in Western Australia. I think we all know that the most of them are run by volunteers, and there's always sort of financial aspects that are involved in running a sporting organisation. So our goal is really just to take a small cost off their hands and just help them make things a little bit easier. And then the focus can really be on, I guess, maintaining that community spirit, maintaining the club, and ensuring that there's a team playing out there on the weekend that does bring so much joy to the local community.
What impact do you think this will have for the communities themselves?
I think before we sort of said regional sport really does play such a huge role in a lot of the local communities, keeping them connected. I grew up in a local community myself, and have played some country football over the journey, specifically for the Calabar and Tamman Cats. So I know how much work goes on behind the scenes to keep a club running, and how much communities do rally around their local team. And there is no better feeling on a weekend when you can go out and play with your mates, and then sit in the change rooms after and catch up, and whether that's having a couple of drinks, and just sort of chewing the fat. There's nothing better. So we think that this support really does help ease some of that pressure, and it continues to bring people together, whether that's players on the field, people in the canteen, or families on the sidelines every weekend.
Amazing. Yeah, shout out to the Calabar Cats. You must be very proud to be a part of CBH offering this. And this feels like an obvious question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Why is supporting regional sports so important?
Oh, I think as CBH being a grower-owned cooperative, we're absolutely committed to supporting the communities where firstly our growers live and work in, but also the many regional staff that we do have that are a critical part of not only receiving the crop but outloading that crop. And then country sport then plays such an important role in regional life, whether it's the football, the netball club, or the weekend, or the many other sports that exist. And I think we're really proud to partnership with those local sports and ensure that we're really supporting those that are living day to day on the ground in regional Western Australia.
There are lots of sponsorships out there when it comes to our sport. What makes this one stand out?
I think from a CBH perspective, we are quite geographically broad in where we touch. So I think really from Binu in the north to sort of Southern Cross in the east, and then Beaumont all the way down to the southeast in Esperance, we've got a really big geographical spread. And for that, it's really just the scale of the investment that really sets it apart. The fact that we're supporting 71 footy clubs and sort of 25 netball associations directly, and the money goes straight to them and covers something that they have to pay for year in, year out. We think that's something that's really important, and we're very proud of.
Yeah, exactly. And we're hoping to chat to Mick later next week about how CBH is prepping for harvest and all the logistics around that. But for today, we're keeping it super positive when it comes to how you guys are helping out our local sports. Super important. Thank you, Casey, for your time this morning.
No worries, Holly. Thanks for having me, and good luck to all the growers out there and the local community for the rest of the season. And harvest will be upon us before we know it.
Oh, yeah. It feels like it's already here. We've already started talking about it on the show. Casey York from CBH, he's the head of logistics. You're listening to Rural Focus on Triple M.